Once you understand the solutions aren't created to solve the problems, but the problems are created to implement the solutions, then you will realize how evil the people creating all the problems are. Anonymous. Our food for thought and thought for food for the weak. For emphasis, I take it again. Once you understand the solutions aren't created to solve the problems, but the problems are created to implement the solutions, then you will realize how evil the people creating all the problems are. Anonymous. That's our way of welcoming you to Open Forum with Citizen MKO on your favorite dial, Memories 96.5 FM, here broadcasting from Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, where we call the capital of visionary leadership in Nigeria. And I am none other than Citizen Matthew Kofi O'Connor, otherwise known as Citizen MKO. I am a productivity advocate, a reformer, and the president and founder of Open Forum. I'm just a citizen, but with extraordinary drive of patriotism. And this program is a talk show of consequence for state and nation building. And we do this in support of the Arise Agenda, the Happy Hour initiative of Governor Moino, and the renewed hope for Nigerians by Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We are an NGO, and this program is publicly sponsored, and we look at people, issues, ideas, and solutions. Welcome to the January 20th, 2025 edition of Open Forum with Citizen MKO. And as usual, we have an array of issues to deal with. Remember, on radio, what we do is just touch here and there because the town hall, and we have more time on our podcast where we deal with some of these issues. And as usual, we bring in subject matter experts to deal with whatever matter is on the front burner. And today, the matter on the front burner remains stock taking, an agenda setting for an Akwa Ibom without oil. We are 86.29% dependent on federal allocation. God forbid the problem comes in that sector, we'll be among countries, among states in the polity most miserable. So we want to see how Akwa Ibom State can make its own money and be able to depend even without oil. And so the subhead for that has to do with promoting entrepreneurship through partnership with critical stakeholders to enhance sustainable well-being of citizens. You will get to know more about that. And right in the studio here, we have a subject matter expert I'm going to introduce after I've given the rundown, and then we'll go straight into the discussion for the day. We also have state of the state and state of the country. We are going to talk about some of the matters. You'll hear it when I bring them up. Those that have seen the promo, good. And then we also have humanitarian intervention. Actually, on this edition, it's obviously interventions. Two matters we're going to bring on, and then we've already taken the food for thought. But there's something we do on every edition. Previous editions, we try to recap what were the high points that we dropped, because it will help us. We're not just doing a talk show on radio. It's a talk show of consequence, because we follow up with letters to authorities. And we also know that these radio programs are monitored by the state government and by other interested people. So the things we say are not just waste of time. Above all, we send letters as memos suggesting what things that are to be done. Last week, some of the issues that we arrived at, because last week we opened the phone lines, we didn't have a studio guest. Our guest was you, our listeners out there. And callers that called in harped on one thing: the need to mechanize agriculture in Akwa Ibom State, because it's impossible that we have arable lands in Ini and other local government areas. They are not being used. But we hear some persons, particularly those who want to hype government, talk about agricultural revolution. And you wonder where revolution is, that we are still buying food from neighboring states. So the encouragement is that the Umoino administration should prioritize mechanized farming in local communities. And that brings me to something that I observed. We have the model farm at Nsulubium, and where I noticed when I went for the burial of the wife of our governor, late Her Excellency Patience Umoino, I discovered that the farm is along the road and is fenced. What struck me was the fence. The fence is cast. I don't know if that grammar is correct. I've never seen that kind of thing before. It's not just block work. Concrete, cast, like maybe government house. I don't understand the idea behind that recommendation for a fence of a farm to be pure concrete. I can imagine how much has been put in there, but that's not the topic for today. Sunday we'll look at that because I want to also go to the farm to see what it's all about. And then we also thank Governor Moino for his being very frank in assessing the people that he worked with before he dissolved the EXCO he inherited from the previous administration of Governor Udom Emmanuel. He was very frank on the delivery, and he also honored them by easing them out through a valedictory EXCO meeting and dinner. He was very vocal. He wasn't satisfied with the delivery that he got, but yet life goes on, and that's a lesson that anything absurd in terms of leadership recruitment should never be accepted at any level. We also talked about Fejiro Victor, who is alleging that the immediate past governor, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, embezzled or whatever allegations he called it, looted or misappropriated 700 billion, and he's raising issues virtually every week on social media, saying he's going to EFCC. But being analysts, we have raised concerns that even if those issues he raises are founded, it may not go anywhere because there is an injunction that was secured by the Udom Emmanuel administration in 2016, barring any state government official, serving or former, from being prosecuted for corruption, unless the House of Assembly gives approval, which you know is impossible. So we have notified that those that say, oh, something is going to happen, nothing may happen, because until that very injunction is vacated, nothing can be done in terms of fighting corruption. So we have encouraged, because EFCC, ICPC, and even the IG were bad. We've encouraged the Governor Moino, who is doing things differently, to establish the Akwa Ibom Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission so that we can fight corruption and trying to protect any form of corruption or fraud. It's an indictment from anybody that does that, and we cannot allow His Excellency to be rubbed off negatively or painted in bad light when people realize that not much will happen on Fejiro's petitions or alleged petitions. Another thing that we talked about was the humanitarian grounds. We further appeal to His Excellency to investigate and recover the reported $80 million said to have been missing from Ibom Power, which was given by federal government. It was made, that statement was made by the immediate past MD, Dr. Mayen Etowodo. I was there at the House of Assembly where he said it, and he has said it on radio stations, and we've done a press conference on that. National papers carried it, but not even a statement from the government or from anywhere has come to that. So that's about 125, 130 billion, and we cannot pretend as if it is not real. So we've reiterated that again, and then still on humanitarian grounds, we brought in Pastor Ifreke Akpakwan. This from Ikoropaban. So we Akpan Obotum too. He's just sharing the same word, and his house is just 10 minutes walk to His Excellency's house in Nsulubium. He has vision impairment, and he needs surgery to the tune of 400,000, and it's going to be more than that when you put other things together. And because of how our hands are full, I've not been able to communicate with the people, because I've said here that we are not going to push everything to the governor. You have a chairman, you have a house member, you have well-meaning people in government from Nsulubium. Everything cannot go to the governor. So we're going to reach out to them, and that will be done this week. So please bear with us, Pastor Ifreke Akpakwan. We are on their case. We've been very, very extremely busy. And then finally, to cut the cost of governance, we suggested that the new cabinet should be reduced in size. And that can be done using the Professor Kwaneku's led post-COVID economic reconstruction report that was made, so that the cabinet should be reduced. And not just that, we advocate that the deputy governor should be given a ministry to head. The madam is very versed, and it will also cut costs in terms of how many ministries do we have, what does the deputy governor do, apart from boundary issues and all of that. The deputy governor is given a very sensitive ministry that she will deliver big time. I know she can do that. We must cut cost of governance, no matter how we want to reward political followers and all of that. So it's important we do this, and that is that about what transpired last week, which was or the edition of last week, which was about was that 13th of January. And having said that, I want to introduce our guest. And interestingly, we happen to come from the same part of the world, and we've been close for a while until he went into the university system from the banking sector, and now he is more than what I can say. He is a pride to where I come from. He's always been a pride. He has a different kind of attitude from what may be prevalent. I'm talking about Dr. Emmanuel Ikpe-Michael. He is a chartered banker. He's the chairman of Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, Akwa Ibom State branch. And currently is a lecturer in the Department of Banking and Finance at University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. He's much more than that. I won't have time to read out what he is, fellow of this, fellow of that. Welcome to Open Forum with Citizen MKO. I need to add your religious title, Dr. Elder Emmanuel Ikpe-Michael.
Thank you so much, MKO.
Yes, please.
My brother.
Pull the mic close because you
my brother, as I usually call you.
Yes.
On this memorable day, you bring me to Memories FM.
Absolutely.
So I so much appreciate it.
Yes.
The day I won't forget. Thank you for considering me worthy to be here today and to speak on the subject matter.
Thank you.
To Akwa Ibomites, yes, to every other listeners, Nigerians, thank you. And I wish you stay tuned and listen to our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Before I come back to you, it's important, we just reeled out a little thing here, and that has to do with humanitarian intervention, which once we are through, we are going to get to the discussions. State of the state, state of the country, any issue you want to share your thoughts, you will share your thoughts, and then we'll go to the big talk, which has to do with how Akwa Ibom can survive without oil. Now, on the humanitarian intervention, something has just happened today again, which is going to help us to take a decision. Sometime last year, I think in the month of November or thereabout, we invited a young man who suffered a strange ailment in his SS2, about right smoke. Something happened to him and he became deformed. It's a long story, I won't want to share it here since he's not here. He failed to turn up. And when I got the reason, I felt very disturbed, because the young man that was locked in a room for 12 years. And when I started coming out, he heard my voice on radio when we were doing Open Forum with Citizen MKO on a sister station. He called me and told me about himself. I told him, is that real? Come to you, he came. I was shocked at what I saw. And I went praying, and God revealed to me certain things. And when I met with him again, we talked, and the rest is history. And we started to see how we can help him get support. Unfortunately, today again, after I gave instructions to be here, latest 9:30 to 10 o'clock, so that we'll leave from our Open Forum Center to the studio, he is yet again not here. So we will skip his matter and we'll leave it to be like that for whatever reason. But if he turns up, we may still consider him. Outside of that, that matter is closed. The second humanitarian matter has to do with our young men and women, and even, what do we call them? Lawyers, people go to read law, even when they are 70 or 80. So we have our law graduate who went to law school as usual, and for the first time in the history of the state, they have not been able to receive grants that the Akwa Ibom state government is known for. And we speak for the voiceless. One of them actually reached out to us, and she was a volunteer. She came all the way from Enugu to volunteer under Open Forum during the the strike, and then served without payment of salary or stipends, all the way from Enugu. And she graduated, she's in law school, and she told me what they are facing. The school fees have been increased to 490,000 naira, and the Akwa Ibom state government has that even yesterday that I cross-checked, nothing has been given to our law school students. One set has finished, another one is going to finish by this February, and we had done a letter to His Excellency appealing that in his spirit, in his magnanimity, he should consider giving them something like previous administrations. Unfortunately, nothing has been done. Minister of Education was reached under the last commissioner that was there, nothing was done. And we want to appeal to His Excellency that please, our people are suffering. I don't know, from what I've heard, it's like Akwa Ibom State is the only state that have not decided something. A boring state, some northern states, they have sent whatever they can to support their students in those institutions. So please, I want to appeal to His Excellency. Maybe we're going to do a follow-up letter. For instance, this very set, the front log set, that is the set before this current one. I think they had finished in November 2024. I learned one of them even died, and he has left the family that is suffering because he went through hell to even try to get with that program, and he has died. And may God grant him his soul repose. And then this particular set, which is the backlog set, they resumed on the 7th of June 2024, and they will end on 28 February 2025. This very set, that's where our volunteer is part of. They are pleading that even some states in the north have gotten grants, and also even a boy state have gotten grants. They will be very happy if given financial support. Your Excellency, please, sir, you are compassion personified. It is not easy with those people there. Whatever will do. Like the issue we're going to look at today, I will read out what His Excellency has done to people, even people that are not from here. So how much more? And since it's been a tradition, this may be the first time, if it happens, the first time that our law students have not been supported by the government. It can happen, not under Governor Omoeno's administration that is doing wonders in terms of reaching out to people. So that is that about our humanitarian case. But if Eliakan Effiong is here, we will forgive and bring him on air. Otherwise, that chapter is closed. And then we want to get to the big talk. The big talk first has to do with the state of the state and state of the country. We're going to be a bit fast about some of the issues so that we'll have ample time to deal on the big talk. Talking about the state of the country, we'll start with a disturbing controversy that ensued during the budget defense by the IGP, Inspector General of Police, at the National Assembly. And something I've never seen happened. And it also has to do with our people. One of our representatives, Market said, he raised alarm along with the senator, I think it's from the southeast, that the documents they had, the breakdown they had, was different from what the IGP was reading, and they raised alarm. And the chairman of the committee dismissed it. They insisted until the senator walked out. Before you get into the talk, let's have your feel a little bit. My brother, as we call ourselves, Dr. Emmanuel Michael, you were in the bank, and now you are in the academic sector of the economy. What took you away from the banking hall, having been this and that in different banks? What took you to the educational sector?
I think if you are a banker, you have a pride of place, you enjoy the work, you enjoy the money. But if care is not taken, you may have so much, and even when you help people invest, you may not be able to invest. And if you are the type that you like assisting people who may think that you are earning so much, you have to reach out. Besides that, there's time for everything.
You said something. Do bankers enjoy the work and the money? I think they work so hard. Some of them, you don't close work until 9 o'clock at night, some 10. And I've read some people say, like accountants, you only count the money is not yours. So how come bankers now have money? Like one of them that was so rich and fabulously rich, and you cannot even comprehend.
Well, that is his own case. He has his story to tell. Bankers are not supposed to be poor. I know even before now, some of my senior colleagues telling me lecturers used to earn more than bankers, even oil companies.
Yes.
Some of oil companies. But those things have changed. Now, some bankers make it. Some have other businesses. Well, once in a while, one or two persons might be involved in some fraudulent activity. So, engaging, taking advantage, there's what they call rent making. You see opportunity, round tripping, selling foreign exchange.
I want to come to that because banks hardly give loans now. I'm speaking to you as an expert. Banks hardly give loans, but they declare fabulous profits at the end of the year. So where do these monies come from? It's disturbing. So you are here, you're going to help us, just give us an insight, because Open Forum, we go to the root of issues. We don't beat about the bush. You have a hot seat.
Banks are risk takers.
Okay.
You know, in business, and investment, they say high risk, high return.
Yes.
They may avoid certain areas, and they will see a particular area which looks so frightening and very risky.
They take the risk.
By the time you take the risk, it's a two-way thing. You can make it, you can lose.
That's
so
true.
Sometimes they may not do the one we expect they do, and they can just take the risk, big risk, and then cash out.
So why do you enjoy the university now more than the banking sector, where I found you in about, at least I've seen you in about 2 or 3 banks before?
Four banks.
4 banks. Yeah.
In the bank, you do not control the variables that can see you promoted.
Okay.
You know, like if you're a marketer, they will tell you should bring this, bring that, bring that, bring that. And what they want, if you go and bring fixed deposit to bank, it doesn't count much.
Really?
Fixed deposit, even if 1 trillion, they will not clap for you.
Really?
Because bank will pay money.
Okay.
And what they do, they will expect you to bring money to current account, where the owners will not earn anything, the bank will trade with it, and at the end of the day, you see how it is. So you may not, if you are morally sound and you love your customer, you are even supposed to advise them to invest.
That's right.
So if they have so much money and you tell them go and put it in the current account and go to sleep, you are not helping them.
We are not talking about banks today, but there's a question I must ask. If I don't ask, I'll never be free with myself. The demands put on marketers in the bank, particularly the female marketers, has raised issues over time. Is there nothing that you are the chairman of the Bankers Institute of Bankers, Akwa Ibom State branch? You are aware of what I'm saying. Can that pressure put on marketers, be it male or female, can it be reduced, or can something be done about it? Because we've heard stories of how some persons needed to chip in themselves just to be able to meet up targets.
Before you choose to walk away. But if you go there, if you go there, banks are people's business, and they need money. They need money. They need deposits so that they can grant loans, because loans are not granted from the thin air. You need deposit. From deposit, you generate your loans, and from loans, that is the greatest source of funds.
So anybody that cannot meet up,
if you don't make, if you know you won't make it, just leave it. But by the time people decide to give their body, do anything so that they can meet their target and be promoted, I don't think anybody sent them that one. They choose to do it the way they want.
That brings me to the fact that you are an elder in the body of Christ. You're an elder in the Apostolic Church, Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
How did that affect your being a banker, knowing that some of these things go on, knowing that sometimes you may not be able to pray freely or counsel somebody freely? How were you able to balance your spirituality and be in a sector that what matters is what do you bring to the table?
Wherever you are working, whether the bank or government ministries, a department, agency,
yes,
you are serving God in your position.
Absolutely.
So in your everyday work, do it as if you are serving God. What is not right is not right. What is right is right.
The best way to live it, because I've been saying it, you see what we do in Open Forum? This is, as a person, my way of worshiping God. The kind of things we do is not for self.
Yes.
And the kind of things that we try to do, in fact, it borders on the miraculous that we're going on. So you've dropped it, and I can confirm that that is so. Whatever you do it as unto God and serving humanity, you are good to go. Like we are good to go on the issues we are going to take on. I earlier introduced that just last week, the IGP, Ekpetokun,
yes,
was at the National Assembly to defend the budget of the police force. And the document given to National Assembly members, some of them complained that what the IGP was reading from is not what they had. And there's no time we'll have played the video, but for those watching us online, remember we're streaming online on Open Forum with Citizen NK on Facebook and also on Memories 965 FM, also on Facebook. Maybe while we are editing this, we'll try to include the video of what transpired, where Market said the member representing Uyo Federal Constituency in the House of Reps and a senator from one of the Southeast states raised alarm to the point that they walked away because the chairman and other members were not comfortable that the fact they have raised such alarm. Now, is it humanly possible that in the midst of people with camera live that a budget, what you call budget padding or ghost projects or ghost monies can be discussed? I know the IGP has made a statement that it was that wasn't so. They were given 2 documents and this and that, but those 2 documents were obviously not with our representative who did so well to raise that alarm and the senator who actually walked out. What is your perception as somebody who minds figures? I don't know if you watched that video.
Yes, I watched it.
What is your comment, very briefly?
I saw it in about 4 different fora.
Okay.
I reached out to my brother to tell him thank you.
You did?
I did.
That is why I'm doing this.
I thank Right Honorable Market said.
Did he refute? Did he say he was in error? That the document was later seen?
But we watched the video. By then they told him, you have the document. He said, no, this what I'm having is not there.
What is really
the IGP is presenting it. You know what other thing? Yeah. Immediately after that, the IGP released a circular. There was the news they released that it was laughable for that senator to have walked out, that they just excused themselves. So, but that is Nigeria. You know, every year, every time people are presenting budget becomes a ritual. They will just present it. It's just for presentation's sake.
We drop it there. We want to commend the member representing Uyo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives and the senator who represents his constituency. We will update his name maybe subsequently because we cannot afford not to give such people credit.
Yeah.
There is a number of things that happen. And like I've said, even as a personal principle, right from when I was a very young man, I said to myself, where issues are involved, nobody's important. Yeah. You cannot carry a masquerade to the express and believe that nothing will happen.
Oh.
Something will happen. And I have respect for the police force because I'm alive because of God Almighty and the Nigerian police. So I don't joke with the police. So whatever thing transpired there, as long as those members have not made a counter statement that they were in error, we stand by them to say, well done. Wherever issues are involved, don't let anybody intimidate you with his rank or his title, whether you are a king, whether you are whatever you are, because your life may depend on the final decision. So, a good one there for our representatives at the House of Representatives. And the next issue on the front burner is the Nigerian tax reforms bill, which the Nigerian governors have eventually accepted, made a U-turn, and that excites Mr. President. In a nutshell, the breakdown that was given for how the VAT, the derivation from VAT, was to be shared is what has made the senators to now, the governors who had earlier been against completely the reforms to start saying, okay, we can adjust. The current law has the sharing of VAT as on a quality basis, 50%, on population, 20%, on derivation, 30%. Now, the variation had to be that earlier was 50%, 30% for population, and 20% for derivation. And so the National, the Governors Forum have been able to succeed, so it seems, to still scale down on the derivation, because the federal government had proposed 60% for derivation, 20% for population, and 20% for equality. But the Governors Forum now wants equality at 50%, population 30% instead of 60, while derivation is 20%. I would want to say that as much as this is a good move, it's not good enough, because it gives the impression that the northern governors are more organized in advocating for what they want as southern governors. If derivation, which is where this thing is produced, does not attract reasonable percentage, why most population would, when some persons just maybe procreate for election purposes without commensurate returns? I want your thoughts on that very fast, and so we can go to the next matter, because it's very important that we attend all questions.
I think we were worried when the Governors Forum did not accept it. But now that they have accepted, they are the one representing us. It is like they are speaking for us. I was even wondering, there's one governor in the north that is almost on a daily basis who will criticize the thing. We're talking about tax reform. But I'm wondering, is he part of the people who have accepted this sharing formula?
When they say Governors Forum, it now favors them.
So it favors them.
Derivation, which was their main crux of the matter, has been tempered with. But is it also possible that labor, that community leaders, particularly from where these things are sourced, will keep quiet and just allow this conversation to begin and end with the Governors Forum? Is it possible? What's your recommendation about community leaders?
I think they should leave it. Before now, what was it? And if for any reason it has been adjusted, we always say one Nigeria. So whatever, we have to compromise. We give in, we get there.
One Nigeria.
We still have one Nigeria.
But we know what one Nigeria means.
That is it.
Aminu Kano said, yes, we are one Nigeria, but we know we go to our father's house.
That is it. That is it. For the sake of one Nigeria.
But I must also commend the Governors Forum. They did something. We hosted Dr. Associate Professor Happiness Udru, the Calabar Zonal coordinator of ASU, and she said ASU does not accept what is being proposed having to do with tax. TED fund. And we were about almost the first to be hyping that thing. But the governors themselves are in line with that. They have said, don't scrap TED fund. Don't replace it with NEL fund, which is about loans to students. I cannot cut you short just in maybe 30 seconds. That's your constituency.
You know the benefits of TED fund. Go to, like in Akwa Ibom State, go to Akwa Ibom State College of Education. Go to Akwa Ibom State Polytechnic. Go to Akwa Ibom State University. Come to University of Uyo. You must see a library, a building, a lab, classroom block that is labeled TED fund for a specific year. So there's no tertiary institution in this country that does not benefit from it. And it helps. So by the time anybody comes out and says, okay, no TED fund, and we should have their fund. Not everybody wants loan. How many people will be affected by this loan?
The loan is questionable.
And even when they go to school, where will they have lectures?
Good way to leave it.
Yes.
We commend the Governors Forum for speaking up, not waiting for even ASU to go on strike over this, because I can't believe, and that fund was the initiative of ASU as a solution during the Abacha period.
Yes.
Until the people in government now saw that money can come like this, they now hijacked it. So we commend the Governors Forum for what they have done, which is very good. Wherever it is bad, we say it is bad.
That is it.
But for community leaders, those that have the toga of stakeholders, stakeholder, I will show you. It's time to speak out. Otherwise, if you parade yourself as a stakeholder anywhere, then you have no views about each national or state issues. It's just a nickname, and anybody that takes you serious does not know that you don't have anything to offer. Very bad tradition. And an appreciation that somebody penned. One of the permanent secretaries, my friend and brother James Edet, who is a national awardee of the National Productivity Order of Merit Award holder, and he titled it "From Cries to Smiles." He thanked Umoino. I think I should do this honor by reading it, because it won't make sense just to talk for nothing. He said, in a world often overshadowed by bureaucratic indifference, one leader emerges like a breath of fresh air, captivating the hearts and minds of a hopeful workforce. His Excellency Pastor Umo Eno, Governor of Akwa Ibom State. With a heart as nurturing as a caring shepherd, Pastor Eno has become a symbol of compassionate leadership, worker-friendly governance. His recent provision of official vehicles for all permanent secretaries in the state exemplifies his sworn commitment to welfare of his people. For these dedicated public servants, the provision of vehicles is not just a policy change, it is a dream come true and a heartfelt prayer answered after years of waiting. Recognizing the struggles faced by permanent secretaries as they navigated the complexities of official obligations without any means of transportation, Governor Moino's thoughtful provision demonstrates his deep respect for their vital roles in the state administration. Pastor Moino's approach transcends mere symbolism. It reflects a sincere commitment to uplift public servants. Akparawa James Edet, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Information, in his article, From Cries to Smiles, as Governor Moino empowered permanent secretaries. I don't want to add anything. What is your take on that?
Certainly, I saw the car, the SUV. Need one. Sometimes people see civil servants or public servants as people are supposed to labor without being favored. So, really, it's from Christ to smile. So, we tend to smile with them. And thank the governor for this very well-deserved gesture.
I needed to craft that in. It is historic. And because I remember a friend who started as a permanent secretary, the car he drove as a director, in fact, one of the doors did not even have a handle. And that was the car he drove as a permanent secretary till he retired. And I just hope something will be done in future, because it was their entitlement. They need to have enjoyed it. So if they could not enjoy it while in office, something can be done to cure such malady that befell the civil servants then. Good job. And to the big talk.
to the big talk. The big talk has to do with the stock taking and agenda setting for Akwa Ibom without oil. And like I said, every second counts on Open Forum with Citizen MKO. We touch on this and that because it's a town hall. We'll still have time, even if it's going to be 7-8 minutes for callers to call in. So we are looking at promoting entrepreneurship through partnership with stakeholders to enhance sustainable well-being of citizens and the state. And specifically, we have a governor who has intentionally brought up programs because his emergence, not because another administration did not have poverty issues, but Omoino has prioritized attention to ameliorating the sufferings of persons by initiating a number of programs. And to give us insight, I also want to reel out some of them. Is important for record purposes. That under educational grants and support, Omoino gave 100 million as education intervention fund to persons living with disabilities in the state. And that money, I can confirm, I spoke with somebody, said he has received. Incidentally, by the grace of God, I'm likely host the person next week because he has more serious cases we need to attend to under humanitarian case. And then he also released 778.9, almost 779 million naira payment of WAEC fees. Undisclosed amount was spent for our children who went on educational tourism to UK. Then we also have the 79 million paid as fees for 4 Akwa Ibom students at the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Zaria, Kaduna State. We have 10 million awarded to Ketim Fund Ndanyong Mong, winner of the 2023 Harris Life Essay Competition. There is also the 350,000 naira grant for postgraduate students each. There is the 250,000 naira each for undergraduate students. There is the 10,000, 20,000, and the 30,000 for those students reading professional courses. There is the 1 million that Pastor Omoino approved and gave to as payment to medical residency training fund for Akwa Ibom doctors who just to assist them with the medical residency training, covering costs for multi-stages of examinations and others. And then we having to bring that up again, like I've been just appealed, those students in law school, it is pending, and I want to believe His Excellency will do something about it and will come back and tell the world that he has done it. So that one is pending financial assistance to law school students, so that it will not be the first time that law school students were not given anything. And he has done so much in the education sector. Then you now come to empowerment, entrepreneurship. Pastor Omoino, who is very practical about developing entrepreneurs, has released as much as the first batch was about 800 beneficiaries of grants to people that are training Ibom led at 500,000 naira each. We also have those who are going to receive about 2 million or 5 million the local government that is spending. We also have those non-indigenous Yorubas, Igbos, Hausas, and others grouped together and given 200 million naira each for, as it was called, interest-free loan, has been converted to grant. We have the traders who were given 1.5 million naira, 500 million per senatorial district as interest-free loan. He later converted it to grant. In fact, at the point they couldn't even access the money. So, lots of monies are here and there, but we do not see the impact on the beneficiaries. And even the governor said so just recently, that he needs to see the beneficiaries show that they are come up with something. Otherwise, he may think the other way. We may not name everything, but you are in the banking sector. And we in Open Forum, as an advocacy group, we've been saying that the way these monies are being released, it cannot be sustainable. You look at the bulk purchase agency, this year's budget, they have over 13 billion naira. And those monies, those items will be given without records. So, as a seasoned banker, what can be done for the state government to be able to track how these monies are given, ensure that these monies are used for the purpose. The most recent is the widows of the fallen heroes. They have been given 250 million. How are these monies going to be followed to see that they are invested properly and there's a plow back to the system?
Well, I thank the governor for considering the fact that the state depends on oil, and he has that spirit of developing other people and also other sectors of the economy, encouraging and increasing capacity of even the indigents and non-indigents. Now, so much money has been disbursed to different groups of people for various purposes. Now, the question would be, how were these people selected?
Yes.
Were they just political loyalists? Because sometimes we see people choosing loyalists where professionals or maybe experts are supposed to be choosing for a particular thing. Entrepreneurship is not just for anybody. It's for people who are ready. You must have the skill. You must be ready to innovate. Either you change.
Or you must be trained.
That is it. Entrepreneurship has to do with 4 things. First is innovation. You create something new. Second, you can modify an existing thing. Third, you can use a new technology to do something that has been done before. Now, the fourth aspect of entrepreneurship is maybe getting a new market for an existing product. Now, all these people, have they been in business before? What were they doing?
Yes.
Do they even have the desire to go into entrepreneurship, or they were just selected so that they become beneficiaries, and after that they just see it as a national cake, their own pie?
That reminds me that the most recent happens to be those who were gotten from the Arise employment portal.
Yes.
A whopping 800 or 900 or so 750 million naira was disbursed in one day to how many thousand? 15,000 or 15,000 beneficiaries.
Yes.
And one of them that spoke with me said, "This is not business grants. It's just assistance for the Christmas. That you have to spend 35,000 naira in the same day to buy chicken, buy rice. And will she sell pure water in Graduate? What are you going to sell with 50,000? So how do we galvanize these ideas and put it on the table? Because we say that, can we have Citizens Bank or People's Bank, not just at the Akwa Ibom level, at the national level? So much is being put into these things. As a seasoned banker again, what would be your recommendation? Because time flies when we are on open forum. Even it's going to be 3 minutes, we're going to open the phone lines. In a nutshell, if this is to be your capsule to give to cure this malady, what would be your recommendation so that we don't just throw money? We have to separate political givings and real empowerment that must be accounted for.
Yes. One thing that should be done, the selection process should be
free from political consideration.
That is, it should be taken seriously.
Okay.
Not just anybody. If we are talking about entrepreneurship, what are you doing currently? What can you do?
Beautiful.
And then giving people just any amount does not solve the problem.
Beautiful.
You know, sometimes I remember when we were in the bank, some people will come and apply for a certain amount of money, and you appraise the loan and you see that they need more than that. So you advise, you need more. Like 50,000, what would they do? In the village, some people can use it anyway.
Yes, there are class of people that can use that.
Yes, it can be done. But how do we wish 15,000 people can use 50,000 naira? Well, we are not here to criticize the effort of the government.
No, we are here to help with ideas.
Trying to say that the South just dishing, putting one hand in the bag and dish out maybe 50,000 to somebody. The money can be taken to. We have Akwa Ibom has Akwa Savings and Loan.
That's right.
Akwa Ibom has the Igbo Fadama
Bank, Microfinance Bank.
Akwa Ibom has other commercial banks that are working in Akwa Ibom. They can select them. Then the state government lodge this money with this bank. Tell banks release the money to them, and the state government can even pay the bank management fees.
Yes.
So what the bank will give to at least supersede how this money are being disbursed, and then sometimes they get to the project side. So to say,
no, not even sometimes. The advocacy should be that some of this money should be given as loans.
Yes.
What you call it grants. Nobody is ready to give account for it. And this money is supposed to revolve.
But even if it is as grants, I know why the government is saying it should not be loan because of interest. Banking loan interest.
No, you can call it interest-free loan.
Interest-free loan.
Interest-free loan.
Well, okay, what you are looking at, it should be refundable.
Yes, so that the money can revolve.
I'm not completely against the grants.
Okay.
But see, you can't eat your cake and still have it. Opportunity, they say, is one, but I don't see it as one too. It can come, but whenever you have an opportunity,
You have to be ready.
Be ready for it.
We need to just see the lucky person. It is going to be one call 0803 085 7755. You can call 0809 066 6909 to share your thoughts, even if it's just to be one or two callers, because here is a town hall and we know that you are out there and you value whatever effort we are making here to put ideas forward to government. We don't criticize. Something to the table. It is those that just do something they call them attack dogs and they rely on blackmail or propaganda. This is the wrong place. And I can't fail to say congratulations to President Donald Trump, who is the 47th president. I'm a Trump, I'm pro-Trump right from the first term because there are things I see in him is different. When you see a politician that does not speak to please you, he says what he will do and he does what he says. So I commend, I pray for Trump. Someday, maybe next week, we're going to do a little thing about him. We don't seem to have a caller, and time would not also permit us to go too further. Now, we are parting short as we are ready to sign out.
I thank the present governor of Bible State for having a good heart, seeing people as his brothers and sisters. On the idea of entrepreneurship, if you want to empower people such that it should be sustainable. Sustainability has to do with when you give them money today, how long will that money last in their hand? Other stakeholders should be carried along. Banks, either of a private indigenous or outside, should be used as mediators, as intermediary, so that at the end of the day, they will monitor, or even committees. They can set up committees at federal constituency or senatorial level to monitor what is happening. And by the time that is done, you see that whenever somebody benefits from a particular money, they will know that somebody is following up on them. You used to call something monitor the monitor.
Yes.
So you don't just give people money and say, go and do business, and you allow them. They won't be, not everybody is disciplined.
So we
need to monitor the monitor.
The summary is that it's not enough to give monies out to beneficiaries. The selection process must show that these people have something to do with business.
Yes.
And whatever money that is given, there should be a monitoring.
Yes.
And the monitoring team should also be monitored to give the report. And I must say this, the 200 billion that was given to the market traders in Akwa Ibom State under the administration of former Governor Dim Emmanuel was, I think, interest-free loan. We've not heard any report, and nothing in the market shows that such monies entered the market. The poverty level and the complaint is still high. So it's time to take stock. We are taking stock and setting agenda for an Akwa Ibom without oil. And we are doing this in support of the Arise Agenda, Happy Hour initiative, and the renewed hope for Akwa Ibom people and Nigerians by the federal government. And this has been the size of today's program. It's been so wonderful having my brother, my friend, a seasoned banker who is now a lecturer in the University of New York. Thank you so very much for being with us. We will need you again.
Thank you, sir.
Please. Thank you very much. So I remain Citizen Matthew Kofi O'Connor. I'm a productivity advocate. I'm a reformer. And I am the president and founder. And by the grace of God, by next week, we are going to be back again. If you want to support this program, the number to call is 0802-757-7497. I take that again, 0802-757-7497. We need your support. We are doing some things that borders on the miraculous. Thank you so very much, and see you next week.
Thank you, sir.